Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. Every single month, we try to make it our business to visit with Stephen Hurley. I know you may be saying, what is different, what's new? But what's different and what's always new is making sure that every teenage person, girl and boy, who is not doing what they need to be doing in school, who is not doing what they need to be doing at home, understands that that's not the end for them. That Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge is here. It's available, and it's helping families. Stephen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Carlette. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us once a month. I know you're traveling around and doing a lot, but I think that this is so important for families who really just don't know what to do. And if you're a family that doesn't know what to do, you're not the exception. You're probably the rule. Mm-hmm. And so what do we say to those families that we're getting close to probably midterm or midway? What do we say to those folks that their kids are just not performing? No discipline, just whatever the issues are.
So I think it starts off with you as a parent, a guardian, need to be the change. You need to be the catalyst of the change that you want to see in this young person. There's no shame in it. We are a free program here for those families who have young people that are distracted, that aren't being successful in their environment. We are, that is our mission. Mm-hmm. So there's no shame in it. Be the one to have that conversation with your young person.
See, I think what a lot of people, and we were having this conversation before we went on air, a lot of people think that the Youth Challenge program is a reform school of sorts. I don't even know if people use the word reform school anymore, but back in the day, it was a place where kids who couldn't be disciplined, who couldn't get themselves on track, or their parents couldn't get them on track, they sent them away. But this is not that.
No, ma'am. So, and I'll kind of start from the basics of everything. The Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program, we are a free alternative pathway for young people between the ages of 16 to 18 who are at risk. And by at risk, I mean they're at risk of dropping out, failing school. They might be having discipline issues at home. They might be having other issues that are keeping them from being successful, and that they might have anger issues. So there's a whole scope of why these young people, 16 to 18, and their families decide to come and live with us for 22 weeks and improve their lives. They're going to live on location. We are a quasi-military program. We are absolutely not a boot camp. Mm-hmm. So where the quasi-military piece plays in, there's discipline, there's expectations, there's structure, and there's rewards for meeting those expectations. So these young people are going to come, they're, again, life coping skills, and then the other thing is education. We are an alternative educational program, so there's a few different pathways they can choose. Most of our cadets work towards earning their HiSET, the high school equivalency test. Used to be called the GED. That's kind of where the state has taken it now. So HiSET. Others work on credit recovery, which means they come from their high school, make up or continue those high school credits, and return back to high school and graduate with their class, which is something we've done for a few years. So again, this is a free alternative pathway for those young people who are just not being successful in their environment. This is not a punishment. This is not something associated with the juvenile justice or the penal system. This is not somewhere to come and have this young person kind of put away.
Right. Like you're throwing them away. It's not
exactly. It's not. We build them up. We give them confidence. We teach them leadership, followership. Again, life coping skills. We teach them everything from how to make their beds in the morning to how to write a job resume. Things that are gonna make them strong, independent, good people, tax-paying citizens. We want to produce program graduates with life skills in education. And I'll reiterate it again. Those are the two big pieces that we teach these young people.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I want to go back to. The words at risk. Mm-hmm. That is all-encompassing. Because if your child is at risk, that could mean any number of things. Mm-hmm. And so when you sit and have the conversation with your young person, you can't let your young person make the decision on whether or not they're at risk,
Right.
because we are the
Right.
adults. We are the ones who are seeing that they're possibly at risk.
The adult needs to be that change, because we have plenty of young people that come forth and they say, I want to join this program. It's good for me. Enough self-awareness. And there's many that will agree with their parents or guardians that, yes, this is a good pathway for me. I'm not being successful, but it's at will. So again, no one's being forced to go there by the justice system, but we don't allow them to leave, during that time period. So when parents bring them, they're there with us for the duration of the 22 weeks.
Right. And so I think when parents make that decision, if you know that your young person is at risk, and we're talking about kids ages 16 to 18.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you see them on this path that is counterintuitive to being successful as an adult, you sit down and you set the goal. Are we going to try to recover your credits that were lost, or are we going to work toward the high step?
And we have counselors during our interview process that'll help you make that decision. And we work with the schools around the state to make sure you don't have to drop out, or you don't have to, you can come, and we let the schools know that you are enrolled with us. Again, if you decide to do credit recovery, we work with your school counselor to make sure that everything is going as planned. We have an education coordinator that will help you with all this. So we make it easy for these families to come. All you have to do is come to an interview. If you're accepted, you show up day one, and we make sure that we give you all the guidance and direction you need to make sure that everything goes successfully. And we'll be there throughout the course of the 22 weeks. We have counselors who are master degreed that will see your young person throughout the course of the program and make sure that they're okay, and be there to talk with them and give them guidance.
And here's what I want to really key in on to make sure that parents make the right decisions, and grandparents. Sometimes there are mental health issues at play, and kids may need a little bit more. How are you all identifying and helping to deal with that?
Yeah, so again, we have our counselors that these young people are assigned, and there's no limit to how many times they can go see this counselor. Now, if you think about what it would cost to send your young person to a counselor and kind of let them have free reign to go whenever they need to, what it would cost outside of our service, in our program. So I think the best thing is we are with them 24/7. So we have cadre, which are the retired and active military members who administer these young people, who are with them 24/7, who keep an eye on them, who get to know them, who can tell when something's not right. So again, we keep a very close eye. We keep a lot of attention on the well-being of our young people, their safety, their mental health, and their success overall.
Okay. And so for those parents that are saying, okay, this is for me. The girls are in one dormitory, separated from the boys.
Yes, ma'am.
All of the distractions are taken away.
Correct.
And when we come back in the next segment, we're going to have two young ladies that are going to share with us how their families came to the decision that Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge was going to be a good path for them. Stephen, we're going to talk to them, and then we're going to tell parents, grandparents, foster parents, people who have teens ages 16 to 18, how they can connect
Yes, ma'am.
with YCP.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
All right, stay on point. We're back with that right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. It's always on our heart as we send our kids out into the world, that we send them out with the best, most positive skills that we can give them. Sometimes as parents we can do it, and sometimes we need help. Our guests this morning are two young ladies that are cadets at the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge program, and they're joining us to just talk about their journey. Shania Caesar and Angel Heth. Ladies, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So I want this to just really be easy and comfortable for you. I want you to talk about your journey before you got to YCP. Tell me what was going on.
Well, before YCP, I was getting in trouble. I would go to parties, I would sneak out. I would fight with my mama, fight with my siblings, all that. So
when did it get to the breaking point?
Like before I came here? when I fought with my mama like the last time and she kicked me out.
What did you think?
I was disappointed in myself. Like after a while, I started thinking about it, and I got disappointed in myself.
And so is there somebody, do you and your mom come back and have a conversation about it?
She don't really like the way she's set up. She don't like to talk about nothing.
She doesn't?
No, she's not like an emotional type person. She stays to herself.
So she kicks you out, and where do you go?
I live with my grandmother now.
And so what was the conversation like with you and your grandmother?
She was like, I don't know why y'all always fighting and stuff. Like, it's not called for.
So they really didn't know how to deal with it. So do you and your grandmother have the conversation that you should go to YCP?
Yeah, she thinks it was the best thing I ever did.
And so when they start talking about you going to the Youth Challenge program, what is your response to that? Are you like at your breaking point where you feel like?
I was ready to come actually. Like it gave me a getaway. It was like a getaway vacation basically to me.
But did you have that discipline at home that you're finding now?
Not really. I feel like I'm more disciplined in YCP than I was at home.
And for you, Angel, what was your journey to YCP like before you got?
Well, about 2 years ago, I was living with my adopted mother, but we didn't get along very well. We got into a lot of fights and all that, so eventually she decided to send me to Louisiana to live with my father. And at that point, going to school and all that, I just like leaving everything that I had behind. I didn't have as much motivation to do well in school. I didn't have as much focus. I started hanging out with some people that probably weren't the best to hang out with. So my whole reason for coming to YCP was specifically because just I was falling behind in school. I knew the knowledge. I had all the knowledge to get through, but I didn't
apply
get
it.
used to it. So that I started hanging out with the wrong people, and that's the main reason. My older brother had come to YCP, so my dad, whenever he realized that I was getting into the wrong path, he said, hey, Parker also did this, you know, it's a good thing. He basically laid out my options, and I kind of chose here to come here myself. Even if I didn't want to, I knew that coming here was just the best option for me. It's the best place for me to be because I knew no matter what, it would help me to be disciplined. It would help get me back on track in school and just in life in general.
So how is it that you come out of your prospective cities and you go into YCP? Is it immediate that you just know that you got to straighten up, or what happens? What happens? I mean, because parents want to know what happened. You know, why is it that what is it?
They make us exercise a lot.
They make you exercise a lot. And so, but what about the distractions and the things that were taking your attention away from your schoolwork and the fighting? You know, how does all of that change?
More than anything, I just think it's the way that it's structured, because you really have to get used to living with a lot of people that you don't know, and you have to learn how to work together.
Especially girls.
But at the same time, we have very strict schedule. You know, we wake up in the morning, we get in a line, we count off how many people are there, we take attendance like that. And then it's always like, we do PT, physical training, we go and do our exercise, we go back in, we get dressed, we go to Reveille, and then...
What's Reveille?
It's like everyone in the company, all the platoons go out and stand outside, and a little song plays and we salute it. It's like respecting the fallen soldiers. And then we go back in, and in order, each platoon goes to chow, which is breakfast, and the other platoons do barracks maintenance while the others go to eat. And then right after that, we all go to school, and in the
So it's just everything
is placed out for us.
And so were you able to adjust to that right away?
Kind of, sort of, like, you had no choice, basically. But it wasn't hard to adjust to, because, like, they were telling us what exactly to do and stuff.
Now, what about, you both said, you know, you're around a lot of people that you didn't know. How do you adjust to that?
Well, everybody has different personalities, so you gotta deal with, like, the different personalities. Me, personally, I'm not used to being around a lot of girls. Like, I used to be around a lot of boys. So it's kind of hard for me to cope with, like, all the girls and stuff. But after a while, like, you get used to the way people act and stuff. So,
But now you became a leader in your platoon. How did that happen for you?
well, like, I don't know. I guess I was good, and they seen that I was good, and it was like,
So the reward system that Stephen talked about. So you followed the rules. And then when you were called to lead, how did that make you feel?
I was shy at first, but then I realized it's just people that I gotta see every day, so might as well get it over with.
So you're working on getting your high set. And what do you want to do?
I want to go to cosmetology school.
And so when you go back home, what will you take with you from this experience? Because you guys are just about to finish. What will you take?
Well, I'm learn how to associate with people more, because I used to be not able to talk to a lot of people. And I learned a lot of stuff while I was in YSCP.
What about discipline?
I got very like, if you would have met me before this, you'd been like, whoa.
Who is that girl?
I was bad.
Wow. So what will you take away, Angel?
Well, I would definitely say social skills, because in the barracks, like you said before, there are a lot of different girls, a lot of different personalities. So even if you don't quite like someone, or you know how they are, you learn to get along and how to deal with different people, and basically to live with them without, you know, arguing all the time. And along with that, also discipline. Like, a lot of it is, you know, you learn when it's okay to talk, when it's, you know, maybe better not to say something.
Wow.
How to keep your comments to yourself. It can actually really help in life.
Tell me about teamwork and team building skills.
Teamwork, it teaches you a lot about, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, how to
work with others?
Yeah, sometimes it's just the biggest thing about it is when you get in arguments, it's not exactly a bad thing, because then you also learn how to get over it and how to work with someone, you know, how to
deal with confrontation.
Yeah.
And how to solve that without fighting. Do you think that you're going to be less of a physical fighter now that you're learning how to resolve?
I haven't gotten in one fight since I've been to YSCP, and that's one of my main things I'm proud of, because my temper, like, it got almost close, but like, I put it aside.
But now you're learning those skills.
Yep.
And so when you go home, you'll have something to draw on. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having the courage to share your experience and where you came from. And we pray and we wish, you know, the best for you guys when you go back home and you go back into life, and that you'll have the success that we know that you can have. Thank you, Shania. Thank you, Angel, for sharing. Hey, everybody, stay on point. We're back after this.